Hi there, today I'm demoing the Serpens Modular Sirius, a low-pass filter and a distortion unit. The filter circuitry is based on what you would find in the Korg Monopoly and the Korg Poly 6. It's been hot rodded though, so it's fully resonant. The distortion circuit is a germanium diode distortion, which is what you would find in a rat pedal and a whole bunch of other distortion pedals. It basically gives you a hard-clipped, but kind of woolly, tubey character. And with the resonance cranked, gives you a nice controlled scream. Before we get bogged down in the details though, let's jump to a whole bunch of patches I made earlier with some patch notes so you can get a handle on what kind of sounds we can get out of this module. Okay, I hope you enjoyed those patches. Let's do a bit of an overview of this module. So, just got an analog sawtooth from the Pittsburgh going in here and an envelope from the Quatergy. There's no VCA in play, it's just the filter. Alright, so little tour of the panel. We've got cutoff control at the top here. Distortion control, they won't do anything right now though because we're just listening to the clean output. You've got resonance. You've got input 1 and 2 level control. Inputs 1 and 2 down here. You've got 4 attenuators over your CV control. You've got 2 CV inputs for cutoff frequency modulation and 2 for resonance modulation, which is pretty unusual to have 2. You've also got a clean and a distorted output. And lastly, you've got this bias knob in the middle here. And what this does is changes the cutoff's response to your incoming CV modulation. So if I turn this up a bit. Now if I turn the bias up, you can hear it opens and closes more dramatically. So the highs are higher and the lows are lower. Let's have a listen to our resonance. So as you can hear, it's a really smooth filter. And of course, it's fully resonant. So let's turn my input down. So this is just the resonance. Let's turn the envelope down too. And it gets very low. You get the idea. Let's give the distorted output a go. Let's go back to our sequence. So that's with the distortion about halfway. Let's give it a crank. Try the bias knob. Let's bring in some more decay on our envelope. I'm going to drop this sequence down an octave and see how that sounds. Bring in some resonance. And all of a sudden we're in percussion territory. Which sounds pretty tough. Let's see how that sounds on the clean output. Let's see how that sounds with some audio rate modulation from another oscillator to dirty it up a bit. That's that throaty vocal thing that you get from audio rate modulation. Alright, I took a quick break to change up the sequence so I don't bore you to death, but I thought we'd better try a feedback patch. Once again, I've just got the Pittsburgh going through the Sirius, nothing crazy going on. It's from the timbre output this time though, which is a pretty cool little circuit on that module. Anyway, let's take our distorted output and, oh, Jesus Christ, if I can get my hands to work, there we go. Take it into the second frequency input. Turn this up and see how it sounds. Whoop. Adjust the distortion control. Turn our resonance up. So feedback patches are a pretty quick and easy way to get something pretty gnarly. Even just subtly, it's pretty nice. Just adds a little bit of grit. Alright, enough of that. The last thing I wanted to demonstrate is how we can use Sirius as almost a standalone voice. So we're listening back to the clean output right now. I've got a melodic sequence going into CV input 2. It's a very deep sub bass, so I hope you've got headphones on. But we've also got our distorted output plugged in too. So if I turn that up on my mixer, then we get kind of the character of the distorted output coming through, as well as maintaining the deep subby low end of the clean output. And we can sort of adjust the character of that with the distortion. I'll turn it up a bit more on my mixer. But we can take it further because we can kind of use the resonance as a VCA. Because if we turn it down, then we lose our signal. Turn it up again, and it creeps in again. So if we put it to, say, about here, and then we hit our resonance with some modulation from an envelope, then yeah, it kind of works as a VCA. Even though we've got no attack on this envelope, we've still got a bit of an attack happening because it's sort of sluggish to resonate. But because the filter's resonance onset is so smooth, it sounds pretty awesome, I reckon. And we can get different characters by adjusting our envelope. So that's really interesting, how it kind of wobbles. We can change it a little bit by adjusting our resonance as well. Whoop, too far down. So let's take away our clean just so we can hear what the distorted sounds like. So it's still got a fair bit of low end actually. So the distortion dial kind of works as a wave shaper, clipping that sine wave. Yeah, I'm always really interested in finding interesting ways to create signals in my modular system. So this kind of thing is really exciting to me. So that about wraps us up, I think, guys. I hope that's given you a really strong idea of what the Sirius can bring to the table in your system. Serpens Modular are a small Australian manufacturer. They just happen to be local to me. I know they've been greatly affected by COVID. They basically had to shut down. But I believe they've just finished a run of Sirius modules, and they're either available now or shortly available. So, you know, if you like what you hear, get on it. All right, that's it from me, guys. Thanks heaps for watching. Cheers.